happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital, while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers, our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward to greater achievements, we are rebranding to reflect who we are today and the future that we inspire. Our new logo has been designed to visually demonstrate our Gambian heritage and the sophisticated nature of the bank. We are moving away from the navy and gold-colored parallelogram-shaped logo to our baobab tree with a rising sun in the background. The striking outline of a baobab tree at sunrise is a familiar sight to anyone who has spent time in the Gambia. Our new logo and visual identity are inspired by our core values and spirit of being a pioneer in providing a unique banking experience. It is a completely new look that better matches the transformation we have made as a company. But we remain your Trust Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to present to you our new logo and corporate identity.
I hope you understand now.
Yes.
This is your withholding tax certificate.
Thank you.
Sorry, sir. Give me a few minutes. Let me finish with her. I am not here to sit. I received an alert from my bank. It's like you made a mistake.
The amount transferred to my account is different from the amount on the invoice I issued to you.
No, there is no mistake. We deducted 10% as withholding tax.
Withholding what? In fact, what is withholding tax?
As he just told me, withholding tax on contract payments is a deduction from payment made to contractors for carrying out work, supply of labor or materials, and or provision of technical or consultancy services. 10% is withheld for Gambian residents and 15% for non-Gambian residents. The contractees remits the amount withheld to the nearest GRA tax office in the month of deduction or on or before the 15th of the following month.
What's my interest?
You will be issued a certificate which you should take to GRA when you go to pay your quarterly and annual tax.
What happens to the 10% deducted from my invoice?
That 10% will be less from your tax liability.
So it means the 10% is an advance payment of my tax liability. And I only pay the difference of my tax due for my quarterly and annual payment.
Correct, sir.
Buba, you should have told me this. We all know for any meaningful development to take place in a country, we must pay our taxes.
And on time.
This information is from the Gambia Revenue Authority. For more detailed information about your withholding tax obligation, please visit any of the nearest GRA offices. The Gambia Revenue Authority, collecting revenue for national development.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
Airport Residency Estate is a gated community located in Olyundum, proudly developed by Swami India, perfect for all looking for a quiet life with luxury amenities within an enclosed setting. When talking about the benefits of living in a gated community, safety and security is top on the list. They allow extra privacy, take away the hustle of unwelcome solicitors, and create a safe haven for children to play in a trusted environment without traffic or speedy vehicles. A great sense of community develops through the meeting at a controlled communal leisure facilities, offering an integrated lifestyle. A green environment and well-managed communal areas are keys to higher home standards, elevated quality of life, and better property value should you consider home reinvestment in the future. Added to all is the location, just next to the airport and reconstructed main road, yet tucked in the tranquility of nature. Our purpose is one, your satisfaction. Contact us. Let us help you build your dream home in the Gambia.
This season on Kerr Fatou.
The reason I have always called for a national dialogue is because A government must be responsive to the needs of its people.
Fatou.
Tell you one thing, if I'm as an individual, if I know that there is somebody that I definitely wrong, I will be bold enough. I will go to the person. I will appeal to him and apologize him.
I have to make decision today because I don't make decisions lightly. I investigate. I do my research. I get the facts. I call the experts. I summon meetings. I get the technicians. Then I reflect and I make a decision.
Why did you lose the election?
Well, we lost the election because of hidden registration. We had evidence of people being registered before the opening of the registration.
Hello and welcome to this special interview. It's Thursday and today is Africa Day, and we want to say a huge welcome to all of you if you're watching us in the Gambia and across the world. And of course, my guest today is no other than the mayor of KM, just re-elected. Mayor was Pool re-elect ko. Mayor promised nga ñu ne so amee sa re-election, so we ne you'll talk to us first. And it's an honor to have you on our platform today. How does it feel ñu elect la waa KMC jox la mandate bu ees politique bu métti politique bu tànga few months of preparation? How does it feel?
Thank you, Fatou, jërëjëf, for having me on your platform.
Yeah.
And you're right, we did say you'd be the first interview, so at least that's a promise I've kept.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been quite fulfilling. Am nañ kontante bu bari. It's the first election when I first ran for office.
Yeah.
Nobody knew me.
Yeah.
So one could say I won purely based on the party ticket.
Yeah.
But no matter how strong your party is, once you have a track record, for the most part, it becomes about you.
Yeah.
Because even sa party militancy, ñu la xamut woon.
Yeah.
Xam nañ la léegi ak lan nga mun ak ban façon leader nga nekka sakatuma ñu nekkut sa party. So suñu waree am a second mandate and with a 54% margin with 3 candidates.
Wow.
Loolu moom yaakaar bu rëy la. And it's also fulfilling to know the majority of people in the municipality believe nañ ne liggéey bu ma doon def lu baax la. So am nañ kontante bu bari. Sona nañ tamit because campaign bu métti la.
Yeah.
Once upon a time am na ko ma musu wax ne Talib yow da nga win because of liggéey boo def.
Yeah.
So campaign bi dafa easy ma ne ko non ma ne ko look xaw ma naka la results yi di mel.
Yeah.
Wante campaign bi du easy.
Du easy.
Campaign bi foog mu tof.
Was there any point boo xam ne toog nga xalaat ne xëj na doo win? Because campaign bi was really tense. Was there any moment that toog nga xalaat ne really I'm worried?
No, I wasn't worried. Amul benn moment fu ma toog ma xalaat ne du ma win. Du ma daan xalaat en results yi. I just looked at it on a day-by-day basis. Of course, we were quite surprised ne head of state dem na to the level of almost house-to-house campaign in KMC, and it's a region where am na fi ñetti rallies in 1 week, just before election.
Yeah.
Gain out of campaign itinerary and went to Dipakunda. He recalled ambassadors to campaign here. He tasked ministers to campaign here. So, and most of the MPP party heads were in KM, busy doing house to house, etc. So we were surprised about the level of ammunition they unleashed on KMC.
Yeah.
Being the national campaign, you have 8 regions, but how they focused all their energy and resources fee. And of course, they pushed a lot of energy into a war of misinformation. They contracted many people for new gain false narratives. So I always knew it would happen that way, to a certain degree, because of wahi bala leading up to the election. Moda wako ko maneko hamnane campaign before mo meet. Result binak, I don't know, duma yala.
Yeah.
All we have is the confidence of the people. One day, I always knew it would be a street battle, but we won, and we won because you don't rely on my people.
Yeah.
Amuñ xaalis buñ may kenn lu ñu rely on mooy nit ñu buga And yàlla def na ne we have a team that work passionately, party militancy work passionately. Am na yeneen party yu ñëw on board just because they believed in ñun lu ñoo def. So it was a collaborative effort. Benn nit, I always say, benn nit mënut dara, including man suma boppa. And ku war a win election, you need a large team and you need a team of believers. ñoom nag they rely too much on money. Xaalis tool la rek. wante du yëpp. Xaalis tool la just like any other thing, just like flyers, just like it's just a tool. Wante xaalis du liggéey bi. Liggéey bi mooy how do you get people to believe in your agenda. Moo tax duñ dee talk about anybody in our campaign. We never talked about Bax. We never said anything negative about him. We just focus on selling our agenda. And, you know, nit ñi loolu lañ bëgga.
You stayed on message. Same entire campaign, it was messaging, activities, and positive accent liggéey. To the point, the president himself said he credited your PR gurus for everything that you were doing. I watched the president mune Talib Bensouda campaign dangerously never. You know, at that point I saw the frustration. You could see the frustration in them that you were doing everything right. The messaging was good. Would you say your PR team was just amazing and they put you, was it but was it also the power of good PR?
We had a power of many things going on, and many teams working. So I wouldn't like to say anybody's name because we don't want to let people know who our powerful agents are. One day, it was a collaborative effort, like I said. It was a well-oiled machine, our campaign. We had many teams. Party machinery was working very well. We had strategy teams behind the scene. We had media teams. We had agent teams. We had money. We had a lot. So it came out very well. And nam nga nit ki sumo liggéey because gom na lu mo def. Ak gom na ku mo support. It becomes easy. It becomes second nature. So President bi loolu la feel ne okay, even though I have all the money, I have all the power in this country, I'm going against a formidable force, and it's a positive force. Wow, lu positive nag lu negative munu si dara. And we try to stay focused. We try to stay on message. And our last interview wax na la but I had never watched the president's rallies or NPP rallies. I don't know what they say. I've never watched Bakary Badji's interview. I've never watched what NPP militants do. Man bañ naa ko, my house has no media, local media. Awma QTV, awma GRTS, I don't have any TV. Man suma ñibee rek, I'm tuned out. Wow. So suma nekkee tam in office, I don't listen to any WhatsApp message. I'm in many groups, but I don't listen to any message. Unless somebody says, Lilu important na war na ko déglu. So all the other gossip and small talk I hear from outsiders. So basically, one thing we know is Gambians are hungry for development. They want the country to move. So usually politicians who don't have something of substance to offer in terms of how to solve Gambians' problems, and they're able to drag into a personal battle or tit for tat. And I think many politicians fall into that trap. Where instead of ngay jaay a message, you spend your whole time to turn to one day, and people don't even know what you're selling. So basically, they tried a lot of tactics. At first, they said, "Look, let's create a." Okay, at first they said, "Let's get him on our side." With Lulu Fele, they said, "Okay, let's create a narrative Nesachakatla, or he's corrupt." Bululu Fele, they said, "Okay, let's create a narrative ne tribalist la." You know, Bululu Fele, let's create a narrative ne Lige Ofidara. But in every instant of the narrative, we stayed on message. We never fell for debate. So, would President Mideme Nyaka Pehe Mudo de Wane Dumade set is my neighbor see. I think you told me that. You know, Dumade set is my neighbor see. And then, I guess at the last minute, every politician has a sixth sense. I had a sixth sense now I'm going to win. Trust me, they had a sixth sense that they were going to lose. Lucy does brave face, like you put on a brave face, but you feel it. You feel it. You feel it when you're going to win, and you feel it when you're not going to win. So I think at that point he sensed it. So Mota Mujale ministry propaganda machine is well oiled, it's too powerful. But it was not just about a media team. It was every aspect of the campaign working well, working in cohesion, and working towards what they believe. So you know, amuñ xaalis to be dashing millions to anybody. And we always say, you come and support us based on our agenda, based on belief, or you don't come at all.
So when it comes to this election, I think this is the most contested mayoral election ever in this country. Lan mo galvanize nini this much, the interest. But I said one thing: the hype did not measure up to the number of people that voted, even though it's the highest. I think 50% new vote in this mayoral and chairmanship election never happened. Why do you think people were so much eager to come out and vote?
I think many things have changed over the course of the last 5 years, as far as Gambian politics is concerned. One, we've never had such a democratic space.
Yeah.
So people want to exercise that democratic right to the fullest. Ñaareel bi mooy, people did not know what the use of mayors were in the past, or what mayors could do. And ñun ñooy first batch of chairmen and mayors who have actually shown Gambians what a functioning council is capable of. And this is just us having pretty much 5% of our powers.
Yeah.
Imagine if there was a legislative agenda to empower councils. What more we could do? Because these Nigerian councils here all around the world, the sort of impact they can have on people's lives. Lastly, I think it's also the fact that this election is the last election before the next presidential election.
Yeah.
Every party felt that dominance
is
important for your momentum going into 2026. And the fact that for the first time, we had a president who took the bull by the horn and personally campaigning. So galvanized.
How risky was that, do you think, in your own opinion, for the president?
Very risky. I think
because the president came and campaigned for these three candidates, but most importantly for KM.
Yes.
He said, "This is my candidate." Like he was there.
He was there.
Yeah. And he endorsed and campaigned. How risky was that for the president, in your own opinion?
It was too risky. It's not a risk many politicians at that level will take. At that level, really, you want to support your candidates, but you don't want to put your political capital all on the line. And low level, basically. And he tested his political capital for 2026. And the verdict was made. So he campaigned personally.
What is the verdict?
The verdict is the UDP is on top. So he said, anybody who likes me, who supports me, support my candidates, support Bakari Baji. He personally went to 3 political rallies, whereas the whole opposite, our party leader really reserved himself. He only attended 1 rally, which was a surprise visit, which I told him to come. The surprise, which was our Fajikunda rally. And he did not speak until after the results. I don't think I've listened to any particular public interview he has made to ask for people's support. So basically, I think President Rafko risked all, and I think it did not pay well for him.
Was that a strategy? Sen party leader, Gisuma Kolubare, Sisen campaign. In fact, one time when I spoke to the mayor of Banjul, Rohilo Mune, ñun man nekuma di laaxu si gannaaw Ousseynou Dabo pour record Talib nekku di laaxu si gannaaw Ousseynou pour gralen. Yes, the first year daf ñu teete, but this time it is us against our colleagues.
Absolutely.
So, but in luñ gis mooy when it comes to NPP, the president champion, he highlight more headline all this campaign mom si bopam. Was that a strategy, or you guys wanted to show what you did?
No, it was not a strategy. I don't think we even thought about it. I don't think Swing Party they thought about it. I think what it just showcased more like our party has substance and has many leaders, and it's an actual party. It has many individuals of substance, people who can carry their own weight. I mean, at the end of the day, if you have an organization, you need strong people. I mean, just like departments, you need many directors who have initiative, who have clout. And Mom Lulu does not exist in his party for the most part. And in my case, more than you jail sitting minister to come and contest for a mayor, because they looked around and they could not find too many people of clout who could challenge. So basically, UDP and NPP, our differences just showed in this election. I have run all my campaign through. In my first election, Dabo actually, my first meeting, that my unveil.
Yeah.
There was once he was doing a caravan. He had me come out of the car with him to showcase me to the municipality, Ken Hamuma. But this campaign, every rally I attended, thousands of people would show up. Every house to house would turn into a street carnival, just my mere presence in the neighborhood. And that's also true for Rohilo. That's also true for Yankuba. That's also true for Landing and others. And it just shows me our party has substance. We have many leaders, etc. And it's actually a well-oiled, well-functioning machine. And I think more than ever now, it is not just about an individual. Before they used to say that UDP was a one-man party, was Dabo. And I think this election proves that is false. We all campaigned, we all sold our agenda. Dabo was in the background. He was just watching from afar. And thousands of people were responding to individual candidates and not just Usainu Dabo. So I think our difference is just showcased, and it just shows we will have more governing ability than the NPP because we will have people of substance holding different parts of government and making it move.
Now let's look at the results. Interesting. Yeah. Because you mentioned earlier that the president was on the campaign. Yeah. The Speaker of the Assembly was there. Former mayors like Conte and Yankuba Koli, Rambo Jara came from South Africa, and you have all of these people. I want to look at all of those regions. Bakari is from Joswan constituency, and he won in his polling booth by 500 margin. But the entire constituency, Yako for Daniel. Ñu dem si Fabakary Tombong Jatta polling bootham bi mom si bopam Talinding, you won that. You won it by over 1,000 votes margin. Nga dem si Yankuba Koli, he was the former mayor. Danko for Daniel. Nga dem si Lai Conte Bakote, Danko for Daniel.
Huge margin.
With huge margin, over 3,000. So I'm looking at the numbers from that angle. And from that kind of perspective, the entire result, Sokohole, NPP won only in Serakunda. And even that, the difference was... Yes, Serakunda constituency. And the difference was about few hundred votes. How did you do that? How was that done?
Well, like I said, it's about a teamwork. It's about a message, having an agenda. Yeah. It was also a positive message. And just to take you back, 5 ambassadors have been recalled to campaign against you. One person joked in our team, well, that's 5 votes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, one person joked in our team and said, look, that's 5 votes. So why should we worry? So what I've learned in politics in my very short career, it's not about individuals, it's about the collective. It's not about no. It's about the message you send to the general population. Even with CAFOs, when you go to the head year campaign, and all 300 of my CAFO members will vote for you. It's never, at the end of the day, it's a secret ballot. People will go in there, vote who they want between them and God. And they can come out and say whatever to you. So, look at a guarantee, one legal. Yeah. Show people something that's tangible, something they can actually say, okay, this guy gives me confidence. 2, have a good character. I mean, some people vote based on just the mere likability of a person. Yeah. I mean, be honest, be open to everyone, send positive messages that unite the community, that give people hope. And of course, thirdly, have an agenda. I mean, you can't just go there and campaign against somebody. You have to actually sell an agenda. People are choosing between choices. And I've said it in many interviews. So the message Marse, the jay sa bagas, you should focus on selling the merits of your product rather than down Kenyan product. Because saying a bad thing about somebody else's product won't make people like your product. So I've said this in many interviews as even a general advice to the other camp. But, they were just so focused on the negative campaign that I'm even sure it turned away some of their own supporters. So basically, I think things working well, the foundation is belief. People have to believe in what they're doing. I'm so amazed by some of the young characters I see. You see them even running for miles, the dahe samutobi, all out of passion and excitement.
Yeah.
And I think one difference we had in our campaign is young people took charge. And lowland just Gambia, when young people want change in this country, it's going to happen. I mean, they're 65%.
Yeah.
So whatever they decide for the future is going to happen. And I think my campaign, my candidacy was being fueled by
the young people. And I said that during the last conversation, the young people wanting and see elections.
Absolutely.
Because them even get interviews in areas, some household will say, okay, Nyungi MP, but the young people, hey, you know, you could see they would say,
Absolutely.
So we saw that. But a lot of people will say, re-election was because number one, legal, but also your likability as an administrator. But the zeal and the way people are hungry for development in KM also played a part. This is a huge task, Mayor. Next 4 years, fan nga jëm ak ndaw ñi.
Yeah, so basically, when we were campaigning, I said, I'm not going to trick people just to get their vote today. What I can do, I will say. What I plan to do, I will say. What I cannot do, I will also say. So basically, like I said, when we go to young people, we tell them, look, this is in the works. This is what we plan. But soon a request that we believe is unrealistic or we don't have the capacity to do, we tell them right up. So I think young people also have seen themselves in my leadership over the past 4 years. I mean, we're building the first municipal library, we're building parks and recreation centers around the municipality, skill centers. We've helped so many artists, so many wrestlers. So the fact that I am young myself and we've opened that door to young people, we've shown them that if it's possible elsewhere, it's possible here. I think they've just been passionate. And come knock over here, then you do a Kerr. When I see a Bagari Baji poster on a door, that's a sign they're going to that house.
You go in there?
I am in every house.
Wow.
When I see an NPP flag on a house, I go into that house. And I've gone into many of their chairmen's house, many of their cheerleaders' house, many supporters. I'll meet people there. They sell Bagari Baji t-shirts, cabinet, his photo is everywhere. I will sit and ignore all the photos, pretend that I don't know where they support and try to sell my agenda. And you know, I am the chairwoman of NPP in this area. Manako, but you're Gambia. You know, yes, Manako, so I will still sell my agenda.
To you.
Wow. So I think we love that. It's politics. I mean, we don't personalize it. We respect people's choices. And that's what Gambians want. Bugun couldn't discriminate just because they support somewhere. And I believe many of those people who were wearing different shirts even voted for us, you know, because they were shocked that we would bring that kind of positive politics into their neighborhood. So I believe for the large part, the young people will continue supporting us because we are not going to change. We are just going to double down on whatever we were doing. Of course, there's been a lot of criticism. Some we have dismissed right away because it's just negative, pessimistic criticism. Some we have listened to, which is on the constructive side, where people felt that we could do more here or more there, or although some of them don't understand the resource constraints of council. But we'll change tact a bit because I think in the community, some of the people don't really appreciate high-level development. Like, for example, things that would bring sort of an ease for all the municipality. A lot of them are also concerned in my neighborhood. Right next to my doorstep, there's this problem. And I think we are going to have now a different type of... We'll still maintain, of course, the high-level stuff, but we're also going to have more focus on basic community issues, basic community needs, where people want to see that park in front of their house or that road in front of their house or sort of that sort of retail sort of development. So I think we'll pay more attention to that than just macro, high level all the time.
Would you change of tactics in your politics? I observed something. During the presidential, UDP was more of big rallies, big crowds, and all of that. National Assembly, you went low-key. door-to-door campaign, it paid off.
Yeah.
Councillor elections, door-to-door, we were not seeing you. And people were saying, "Ñi nekkun di campaign."
Yeah.
In fact, the mayoral election bitam, I met you guys. MC Cham keeps telling me, "Boy, sister, kër bu nekk lañ dee duga mayor daf dee dem suba bi 9 o'clock." But I kept on telling him, "Yen kenn gisut leen."
Yeah.
But you kept it low profile until I met with you. Suma koñ, I'm like, you know, and I saw you getting into houses. I was like, this is not, I needed to film this. How effective was that? Going to somebody's house, sitting with my grandmother and talking to her. How effective was that?
Yeah, so politics, like I said, is personal. So retail politics works the best, face to face. You see people, they see you, they feel you, you feel them. They can look into your eye while you talk. Nothing beats that, you know. And oh, may you know best market talk now so much about it. People are personal, and no matter who you are, where you support, if somebody comes all the way to your couch, sits with you, talks to you, that alone can have an impact. You know, no matter where you support. So it's very important in politics to do house to house. Secondly, of course, the media should not be about beating one chest. And I think this is a mistake UDP made in the past, and now we see happening at NPP, where they just talk about, oh, look at my crowd, and all these things. What's most important is your message to people about what value you're going to add to their lives. And one thing I saw NPP doing a lot, which is usually what they used to accuse UDP of, is carrying your crowd everywhere. So when Barrow went to Bakote, he did not know what support he had. But based on our monitoring teams on the ground, they had less than 200 people attended from Bakote.
From Bakote.
But when he was coming, he did not see that, because before he arrived, they had mobilized gele-geles from all over the municipality and all over the region, the Greater Banjul area. So when he comes as a president, he will meet a huge crowd, but he doesn't know where they're from, and then he'll be happy. The same thing happened in Ibo Town. And this is a classic mistake many politicians make. This time around, we said, look, we will not provide any vehicles to anybody. Our rallies are going to cost $10,000. Every ward, we gave $10,000. So we go there, sometimes on the ground, by 2 o'clock, we will find 25 people. But by the time we go around the houses, it builds up to 1,000 people, because the word spreads, oh, mayor is in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So only the people who support you are going to come, and then we start seeing that, oh, we really have a good support base in this ward. And even we conducted 7 constituency rallies, it was the same. We did not give transport to anybody. We just attended the meeting. Whoever we found, we found. So actually, our weakest meetings were in Serakunda. Our weakest constituency meeting was Serakunda. It was the lowest attended. But all other constituencies were very well attended. So, and look at the results.
But the difference, even it was like...
Yeah, so basically, I think this is a lesson for the president himself. When people come to you and say, give me a bag of millions, let me go get you people, it doesn't work. And I think the potency of money is starting to lose its appeal to many Gambians, because we know they practice a very bad type of politics, which we hope they stop, which is trying to corrupt people's votes by going and dropping cash. You know, money can't buy love. You know, we've seen many cases in the Gambia, or just generally in life. Money can't buy you love. If somebody really believes in somebody else, if you give them cash, they'll use it, but they will never vote for you. And I always say it's the heart that votes, not the mind. When people go into that ballot box, one Sarawali lady in Dipakunda told somebody, I went into that ballot box, I wanted to vote for NPP because of what Barrow said, but my heart couldn't allow it. I had to vote for Talib.
Wow.
Because I believe in him. You know, so I think these results, we hope, will change how politics is conducted, where politicians go out there and actually sell something real that people can believe in, rather than inducements. I mean, from the rumors we heard, there was 100 million spent on KMC alone by the NPP.
100 million?
That's the rumor.
Wow, that's a lot.
So imagine how many schools,
you can
and
build,
roads, how many roads, how many hospitals, how much water, boreholes you can build. It's just senseless. you know. So we hope that that changes. Let's compete on ideas. I think that's more sustainable.
And your people came through, Bakau. They did not just stop at donating to your campaign. $120,000. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is the first time actually. During politics, people take from politicians, but they came and donated to the campaign. But they came big, almost about 70% of the votes you got from Bakau.
It's a special place. It's a special community, very tight knit. My affection for Bakau and sometimes my affinity for them, how close we are, is sometimes other parts of the municipality get jealous or wary of it. Yeah. But it's where my roots are one, but it's just a special community. If you look at the Kabilo system in Bakau, it's been there for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And they usually move in one direction. And then, of course, when I was also unveiling my candidacy for the first time, it was Bakau was a constituency that actually sold me to the rest of the municipality. So they're very proud of my candidacy. So it's one place we don't worry too much about because we know the mindset. And when they believe in somebody, nothing can change it. And that's why in my when I went there, I said Bakau Ngayap.
Bakau Ngayap. I saw that, right?
So it was and it was the last rally. It was so special. You know, we think a lot of other parts of Gambia can learn from those kind of communities where they just believe in something and they go after it.
And we saw you dance in Bakau as well.
Yeah, I was so happy. You know, I'm not a dancer. I don't dance often. But the energy was just so infectious, you know. When I was going towards the crowd, and one thing that always gets me is when you look down and you see all the young faces looking at you with so much hope, with bright eyes.
Wow.
You know, you feel a responsibility on one side that all of these guys have hope that I would improve their lives. On the other side, you know, their happiness is so infectious that you can't help it. And the music was good.
The music was good. The music was good. And at what point, before that even, during the campaign, after the councillor election, Councillor Kemo was arrested. Day before election, some of your monitoring team, your PR team.
Councillor Tobaski or Kemo?
Kemo Sise. You know, there was an issue where he was arrested at some point.
Kemo
Sise. Karamo.
Yes.
Karamo. At day before election also, the monitoring team, we had some of them were pepper sprayed. And you know, all of those, how did you handle that? How did that destabilize? Did it have any effect on, you know, just destabilizing your team?
No, it did not. One thing is that we knew that they were trying to destabilize us. We had a lot of brave people who went out there to protect the vote. We had a lot of brave people to stand and fight for their rights and to ensure that the democracy is preserved. A lot of young people. Karamo has not been the first. Ibrahim Adiba was once questioned and detained. That has been going on for a while. Mumudu Sabali was detained. And it's become a practice of the government to stifle these voices. We of course believe that we should all follow the law. But in all those instances, you would see there was overreach by the government. And we felt a need to keep fighting back and pushing back, because these are the signs of the ugly head of dictatorship emerging, where police are using undue processes, etc., or only one side of the aisle is being targeted. Because some of the instances where both the UDP and NPP had a scuffle, only one side is arrested, only one side is detained, and that's the UDP. Even with the Karamo situation, I mean, okay, he has a scuffle with some NPP members. If there was going to be detention, it should have been a detention on all sides, while questioning was going on all sides to establish the facts. But Karamo alone was detained, you know, and I spoke to him and he said, Mayor, focus on your nomination. I spoke to his wife, he said, Mayor, forget about Karamo, focus on your nomination. And this has just been ongoing. And I think the president, when he realized that he was losing, started a tactic, which was to empower a vigilante group from his party or gangs to form in his party to take the law in their own hands to informally fight with the UDP, because he said it at the buffer zone, where he said the whole government is behind you. My boys, go out there, do what you like.
Yeah.
And that night, there was an incident where a group of boys from his business, Majum Estate, had tasers, weapons, and they tasered some of our youths.
Yeah.
I mean, how can a civilian carry a taser? They beat up some of our youths, and then they took them to Serakunda station, and only our youths were detained. These were our youths from Babun Fati. So, and since he released that message, every night, a group of boys from his business again would get up into pickups about 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, and they were busy cutting down our banners, bringing down our posters and putting their own posters. So we realized that we also had to set up a monitoring team to really monitor their activities.
Mm.
So especially the night before election, we
Yeah.
knew they did it in the councillor election. They were out 1 a.m. with bags of money trying to induce voters very late hours. So we said we also need a monitoring team to protect our vote. And so the teams met, but their team had weapons, we did not. The same thing happened. And they handcuffed 3 of our youths in Majum Estate, in Barrow's business.
Wow.
Right, so they handcuffed them there and they were slapping them around. One of our councillors, Habib Sise, went to intervene, and they took this local whip, the lemar, and Barrow's nephew hit him. The councillor with it, yeah.
Wow.
So then to our surprise, the PIU officers come and they only take our boys in handcuff and go detain them at PIU headquarters. And this is why I took out those statements against the IG and the Police Intervention Unit Commissioner. However, we spoke on the phone with both of them. They denied that they knew what was going on, etc. But I mean, come on. You cannot come and find people in handcuffs. How can a civilian handcuff another civilian without just cause and without evidence or charges? Or I mean, you could, even if they claim to do a citizen's arrest, where did those handcuffs come from? And I think they should have detained all of them to find out what the facts are. So basically, this has been going on and off, this election, and we hope it never happens again.
You were visibly angry election day when you spoke about the incident.
And I don't get angry very quickly.
I was surprised. Actually, my reporter said, Fatou may become Farim Baraki, the way he spoke. He was very angry about when he spoke about how the supporters were treated.
Absolutely. I mean, how can you take gangs, give them weapons as a ruling party or as a government, and then abuse them? And then the police, who should be impartial, come and arrest one side. So basically, we knew what was going on. It was a game, and that's why I was angry, you know. And they kept on playing games the whole day until they were eventually released by 3:30. Some were released by 4. And the first thing they did is go out and vote.
Wow.
I just saw pictures with fingers. Vote now, vote now, you know.
They didn't want to miss the vote.
So they didn't want to miss the vote.
Interesting.
So basically, I think I spoke to Aja on the phone. He assured me that he had no knowledge of this. But, you know, we want to tell them, look, let's not allow the mistakes of the past to repeat themselves. And I even advised the president on that platform. And I say, he has a lot of bad advisors pushing him, telling him, or if you want power in this country, you have to use force. Look, these are the same guys who abandoned the last president. You know, these are the same guys who came to you and said, the only reason we were following the president is because, or we were following Yaya Jammeh is because we were scared for our lives, or amuñ one choice, or of new condition. And the same guys putting bad advice. They're the same guys who advised him to attack KMC with police officers, to break into our offices, you know. So I think he should be very mindful of those characters. You know, I've told you in the platform before, we've been pushing an agenda to unite this country, to even bring Bao Senu and the president together, just for the sake of peace, stability, and the progress of this country. But the same characters would intervene, make sure the meeting doesn't happen, because this is the only way they can exist. If there's this division, they can justify why the president should give them hundreds of millions of dollars to go spoil on elections. It's the same guys, the only way they can have their positions is when there's a division. So it's the same guys also advising that this is how a president should act or govern by using dictatorship tactics.
But the Gambians rejected the politics of fear and division in this election.
Absolutely.
It was evident.
Yeah.
It was rejected.
Absolutely.
And do you think that we as a country, we're moving from those kind of tactics? Because it was evident that there was so much division and fear, but the people chose a different angle.
Absolutely, and there was no individual to vilify. You know, with the presidential election 2021, they vilified Dabo, created a lot of narratives around him. And you know, today we are meeting a lot of people of mixed descent who are saying, look, they tricked us. They told us Dabo would kick us out of this country. And now we are seeing it's bogus. You know, we met several communities who've repeated the same narratives. So the politics of fear, division, negative, it's losing its appeal for many communities. And I think this is a lesson for the NPP and the president that you actually have to now bring ideas. You have to bring an agenda on the table. So the fact that Gambians have resoundingly rejected this type of politics, I think is a warning for all politicians that if you want to vie for political leadership, you should talk about what makes your country better, what adds value to people's lives. And with all the money spent, dalasi per dalasi, the results are very bad for the NPP. And I'm telling you, if they spent the same amount of money we spent, the gap would be even wider. You know, so basically what we want to advise the head of state and those around him is Gambians want positive things. They don't want their politicians fighting. They don't want the country to fall into dictatorship. So basically all those advisors who are advising you to take autocratic measures, fire them right away. Find positive people who are going to add value to this country and who would also listen to the other side. Gambia will never be a one-party state. There will always be mixed views. There will always be diverse roads people want to take in terms of leadership. But it's the responsibility of the head of state to listen to everybody and try to bring everybody on board.
The president's speech on Sunday after the election was very reconciliatory. He said he wants time, politics is over. This was the last cycle. Yeah. Let's get back to work and for the interest of the Gambian people. Yeah.
So I predicted that speech even before the elections. I said, if the president wins, he's going to come out and lambaste the opposition and say, this is the country of NPP, they're the government, they're going to push their will. And I said, if he loses badly, he will reach out and try to, but it should not be that way. You know, it's not the results that should dictate your actions as a leader. As a leader, you should always be consistent in your message of unity, in your message of peace and tranquility, and trying to bring everybody to the table. So the results are the way they are, and I just hope that his message to reconcile stays, because we've heard it before. We've heard the message before, but the actions of the government are hostile towards the opposition or are different. Yeah. So we hope that this time around he means it. And like I said, as far as those characters are around, they're always going to push for division and fighting. So there was an advice given to me a long time ago. They say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you look at the 5 people you spend the most time with and their negative characters, it is going to reflect on you. So you need more positive people, more uniters, more people who will try to push this country to be more democratic, etc. You know, even during the election, we saw Pura writing to radio stations trying to keep them quiet. Look at even our community radio; you know, they're refusing to give a license. So we're even seeing arms of government being pushed to take sides, to stifle opposition, to sort of attack businesses they believe are supporting the opposition. So I mean, this is a funny thing, you know. And tables always turn. Yep. And the same characters who are now pushing you to do these things, if the tables turn, will be the same characters who will jump to the next leader and start vilifying you and saying, oh, you know, President Barack Obama won, more you don't def ni, more you don't def that way. We've seen it in the Jammeh era. It's the same characters who were there, and now the same characters encircling the president and pushing him towards the negative things. And they'll be the same characters trying to jump to the next leader. So while he's the president, while he has seen this happening, I think this is a wake-up call to try and change people around him, try and bring in uniters and people who will advance the betterment of the country.
And one thing that really also reflected during this election is the hardship, you know, people are going through in this country. The hike in prices, the electricity tariffs that have gone up. We have seen the young people, Dafadoi, campaigning against the new NAWEC tariffs. And all of these things, I know bulk of these lies with the central government, but as a council, do you have plans of how to help people just to, you know, help their situations?
Yeah, we do what we can, but we definitely don't have the resources or the legislative power to try and control prices. Governments can. You can bring in price ceilings, you can bring in subsidies, you can bring in foreign help. You can better control the cost of living. Like, for example, rent, there's no rules or regulation. The problem is the ministries are not functioning. You know, so ministries are policy makers, they are regulators, but they're not regulating, you know, and they should actively actually help Parliament legislate. They're not doing that. And I think one of the problems is that the ministers now are becoming politicians, or they are too focused on day-to-day politics. And there's less people actually doing their job, which is creating policy. So this is why the country is spiraling out of control in many areas. The high cost of living, lack of control, everywhere seems disorganized, you know, so there's no deliberate direction. And I once said it, there's no even a vision one can point to. What is Gambia as a country trying to achieve?
National development plan.
Yeah, so there's, well, I'm not even sure they know what that means anyway. The National Development Plan was generated at a time where Gambia had sympathy, and they were just looking for help. And they needed to create something, a plan around that help. But we've not heard about it again. It's not been financed, it's not happening. So basically now what they're doing is political expediency. How does government survive on a day-to-day basis? It's not even based on a master plan. Definitely, and it's just sporadic and all over the place. So the average Gambian sits and is like, my life is hard. I have no job. Awma leka, lu neka mingi share, suma salary dafa low. So you'd see ñi tok ma ngi wacca school, there's no hope na am liggéey. Ñeneen ñi ngi ci métier, there's no guarantee you're gonna get business, and the birth rate is super high. Gambian yaa ngi juddu di juddu. The influx from the rural areas for better opportunity in the urban is just increasing day by day. So mi ngi tax sa urban center itam, the urban poor is actually worse now than rural poverty. Because when you are poor in the rural areas, certain pressures you may not have, like rent, you know. But when you're an urban poor, things are very costly, and then you have to have an income or you will not survive, you know. So you have to buy food, you have to have some sort of way to get around, mobility, and everything is under stress. Road infrastructure is under stress, health care is under stress, schools are under stress, classroom sizes, and getting be 80 children per classroom. So, and we don't have a government that is really looking to the future, a government that's really planning ahead, that is looking at all these statistics and building the required services and infrastructure to cater for this growth. So quickly, we are running out of time. And then there's nobody watching out for that. Instead, ñi ngi xalaat naka la ñoo winee election or naka la ñoo dominate opposition. One day, what is now happening is the average Gambian is starting to see that and is worried. Average Gambian is actually worried about the future. So, and there's no hope because you don't see any plan or vision or anybody communicating. All you see is President Barrow stand on a platform, Kumun Samaram Duma, or Mayor Bensouda or Dabolale. and then, that even increases your worry. You're like, I'm suffering, there's nobody talking about my suffering.
Yeah.
So basically, I think we all need to go to the drawing board. We all urgently need to sit and think about this country's future and try to plan it. Or we may all be the victims of what may happen tomorrow.
So last time, there were a lot of hurdles when it comes to developments for your people. And the campaign begins to make promises. You have made promises and your electorates are looking forward to those promises being fulfilled. But you will need government intervention in some areas. Gis nañ mbalit project bi mu ñëwee struggles bi ngeen am pour mun a am sax naka lañ ko dee ooyee duty free bi from central government approving that for you. You had to pay millions for that. Now with all these promises, do you think government will go to the drawing board to help achieve muna deliver for your people? Are you optimistic that you will not go through some of these things again?
So I know right now a lot of them are talking reconciliatory. But like I said, once those elements are there and they hold power, soon their natural instincts will push them to fight. I just know them. So that's why I'm saying when I speak directly to the head of state to try and surround himself with people building bridges, with people trying to be collaborative. I've said it many times, we're not the enemy of government. We just have a different political dispensation. We just have different ideas. But when it comes to development that is actually straightforward, nobody can have a divergent view when it comes to a hospital being needed somewhere or a road being needed somewhere. We all have the same view that it must happen for the betterment of our lives. So we are development partners. We are willing and ready to work with them. But I always say, for me, I believe my biggest gift from God is my brain. If they're willing to work easier and better for everyone, that's what we want. If they're not willing to work, we find our own way and find our own partners. We've done it in the past, we'll do it again. The areas we said we're going to try to intervene, these are not just promises. These are things that have already started, meaning the ball is rolling. Either the company is set up or the committee that is supposed to set it up or the task force. 4 out of the 5 intervention areas, we actually have an organization set up to deliver. The reason it's not happening yet is either the funding is not here yet or the team is not fully set up, but it's already existing. The only one where it's at a very early stage is the affordable housing, because literally it's during the campaign when we set up the task force. But the other 4 areas, the ball is already rolling. Some of it we already have funding that is already pegged and is going through pre-feasibility stage, like the 50 million euros to get from the European Investment Bank, and that is to build a recycling facility and a landfill. Last year we started the pre-feasibility study by the EIB, and by 2024 it will be the final feasibility, and we're looking at implementation by 2025. So we haven't made any unrealistic promises. We talked about things that we are actually working on.
It's going to be interesting 4 years.
Yeah, we are going to push it to the limit. That's my mantra. Wake up every day, push as hard as I can, try to collaborate as much as I can. And it's all about legacy for me, So when it's done, I can turn back and say, oh, I did this, I did that, I had that impact. And
Saturday, the new council will be swearing in.
Yes.
You have the super mandate from the people of KM.
Absolutely.
They have given you the power to govern.
Yeah.
From 12 councillors to 16 now.
Yeah.
You will also have the powers to nominate some other councillors. Okay. What kind of council are we looking forward to this term?
Yeah, so we have the power to govern. We do. We also have a very interesting dynamic. We have more women on board.
Oh, wow.
We have more youths on board. We are going to nominate as much of a diverse group as well, with good representation. We don't know yet, it's too early.
Okay.
But we will also listen to, like I said, many of the criticisms we heard to adjust and be better.
Yeah.
We are never going to be perfect. And we want to also look at the areas where we lost the election and to know why those people really did not vote for us. I mean, if it's something that is development oriented, we will try to see how we can better adjust the council to respond to their needs. So we will look at all of that. I think elections should not only be about where you won, where you lost, but you also have to study the reasons why you lost and try to respond to those needs. It's not just about parties and politics. Sometimes it's maybe genuine reasons, not just somebody feeling like you're not the same party. So with all that, of course, we want to be also more sensitive to community-based problems. Like I said, a lot of our projects are high level. That will always have an impact on the greater community. But we also want to come at the retail level, to know exactly what a certain community needs and try to intervene using the ward councillors, etc. So we're looking at more rapid development. We don't have to deal with the things we dealt with in the past, which was trying to reform a council that was political to make it a professional. So that's out of the way. We also don't have to fight with a waste management crisis. So there's no crisis. Now we can really jump into it and implement our projects. So of course we have a commission of inquiry going on.
Yes, I was going to say that. Do you think, I mean, a lot of the people, including myself, believe that was more of because of the elections. Now the election, I watched the election commission, I think day before election, it was on KMC. And I was eager to see what was going to come. It was just the normal same thing that we had before. Nothing really was there that will raise any alarm. But the commission is going on. Do you think it's going to be a distraction?
It's not.
A lot of people said, look, this is more of to eliminate Talib and the main UDP brass who might be going for 2026.
Look, first of all...
See, we've seen it in Senegal and other places.
Well, there's no chance to eliminate me because there's no evidence.
Okay.
There's nothing... If there was any tangible evidence with the big political fight, it would have been out by now. They would start on a political rally and take out the paper and say, look at this document. So there's nothing. All it has been is allegations. Like I said, it was a tactic. So the commission was born out of a political strategy, a political tactic. Too bad for them that it couldn't serve that purpose. And now they're going to try to legitimize it, that they had genuine concerns, etc. But I mean, so far with what we've had, it's all about a lack of regulatory function
from the ministry. Yes.
And this is what I was saying.
Yeah.
And this is what we've been asking for the past few years. We've been asking them to look at the Local Government Act. We've been asking them to look at the Finance and Audit Act. They always say they are working on it. But the Ministry of Lands and Local Government, I once said, should be separated. Because all they care about is lands.
Yeah.
All they care about is allocating lands, selling lands.
Yeah.
They don't even look at what's happening at the local government level. All they care about at the local government level is that, it is dominated by the other parties. Let us suppress them. Let us block them. Let us make sure that politically they are not growing. That's the only function for local government. But they have nothing to offer. They have not looked at our laws. They are not paying our subventions. They have not looked at ways to build our capacity, ways to ensure that there's service delivery. They have added no value to local governance. The only function of the ministry as far as local governance is concerned is to suppress the other parties. But all their actual functions are lands. So we either need a separate ministry who's focused on uplifting local governance, or a department or directorate that tries to support local government activities and give us our full autonomy, which is prescribed in law. So basically, I think the same thing happening in the Ministry of Lands and Local Government is happening in every sector. Talk to anybody. Talk to a GSM company and ask them, what does digital ministry do? Talk to somebody in fishing, ask them, what does the Ministry of Fishing do? Talk to anybody. In every business sector you talk to, they will tell you the ministry there is not functioning. They're either just selling licenses for income, or they're just there trying to see what money they can get for government. But there's no actual policy. There's no actual regulation. There's no actual direction for that sector. There's no actual vision for that sector. So it's just everyday players are playing, okay, johalki, definitely, and there's no job growth, there's no production, there's no GDP stimulator there. So basically, it's a government not functioning.
Are you I'm looking at this commission as mu ñoo nekk njëriñ ci yéen, because lu ñoo gis right now mooy ne policy makers actually ñoom ñoo nekk at fault in many of the areas. They're failing in policy delivery.
That's it.
So xëj na commission bi su ñëwee dina leen jox clear direction as to how they operate, and also even decentralization.
Absolutely.
Because if you look at what is happening throughout, even watching the auditor, the guy from the National Audit Office, whenever he speaks, he tells them this is an oversight function. All the things that are coming up is going back to the ministry.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, it might look like commission, we might come up with recommendations which might empower councils, because at this point, councils have no powers. It's more of the
it's
oversight
them, you know,
function.
and this is why we were laughing from the start. Even when you come and say, oh, there's an adverse audit finding, there was poor bookkeeping, or there was a voucher not presented, or there's a receipt not, whose job is that?
Who appointed that person?
That's the finance director. Who appoints the finance director? You. Based on your criteria, based on your advertisement, you recruited. So you create the TOR, you create the criteria and the qualifications. You go out and search for these people, and then you hand them to us and say, work with them. You know, when somebody commits fraud, you know, all we can do is stay at home, wait until it's cleared. But the commission is the one that decides whether they stay home or they continue working. So you have the HR functions. So if these people, if the people you recruit are failing at their jobs, that cannot be the fault of the elected officers. And I once said, and they always get angry when I say this, an elected officer must be more powerful than an appointed officer.
Yeah.
Because we are directly elected by taxpayers to manage their resources, to implement projects, to bring projects that actually have an impact on their lives. And these resources are not just monetary, they're human as well. There's two resources it takes to run any institution or any household or anything. It's human and financial. But they want to believe that you can only control the financial resources. You have no right to control the human resources. But the human resources arguably is more important than the financial resources because they do the job.
Yeah.
You know, so basically this commission will be a verdict on them. We are 100% convinced. So from the start, we've said it. It's at first they wanted people to come and create narratives when we are not spending officers. I assure you, any councillor, any mayor who was corrupt or used funding for something, there must be a spending officer involved because the spending officer has that power. So the verdict cannot be on the mayor. It will always start from the spending officer. So basically, we were saying that let's focus on uplifting the councils, giving power where it's due. We are not saying we don't want to be regulated. We are not saying we don't want to be monitored. We are saying you should give us responsibility. So when you hold us accountable, you'll be in the right. But right now, there's no accountability on councils because we are not the body that spends. So we know the commission is going to come, is going to go. We believe if the personalities they are actually capable, they will make the recommendations to give more autonomy to councils and give them more power. And they would also recommend that the ministry exercise their regulatory powers and actually bring positive changes to councils. But, you know, like I said, if the same people are around the president that are today, they are the ones trying to create conflict and division and trying to bring negative politics into this country, nothing will change. They'll brush it under the carpet like all other commissions, and then we move ahead.
And we move ahead. Your opponents issued a statement to congratulate you. Yeah. Did they speak to you on the phone?
No, I only spoke to Pamodumbo.
Pamodumbo. Yeah. Did Bakari call, no?
No, he did not, but a statement is okay. I read his statement, it was okay. Nice. Yeah. I released my whole statement to congratulate them. It's not easy to put your hat in the ring to challenge for a political seat. not easy for anybody. You put yourself out there, your family out there, etc. So it was brave of them. Not the result they wanted, but you congratulate them for trying, and this is what enriches our democracy. Pamodu called me, we joked around a bit, because we met at the IEC.
Yeah, he said that on my interview, that you guys met for the first time.
Yeah,
actually.
so we met
even though people said you sponsored their campaign, he said actually, first time I'm meeting.
Yeah, we met there, and he said former mayor meeting the new mayor,
incoming
mayor, or something like this. Yeah. So when I was leaving, I said, after the election, you can visit me in the mayor's office so we can talk. But he didn't get the joke. He said, yes, I'll come. So basically, it was a good banter we had. This is what Gambia is about, So Bakari, his first election, he called me to congratulate me. It's not that I want a call. I'm just saying we've never had an issue. Actually, 2 months, 3 months before he declared his candidacy, I invited him to the opening of the Africell KMC Parker traffic light. Okay. He did not come. I also invited him at the Serakunda West Foundation stone laying. He did not come either. But it just shows, for me, it's not personal. It's about the country. When I look at somebody, I don't look at you at the lens of party being a boka or tribe being a jogi. All I see is a human being first, and then a Gambian second. And I don't care what else comes. So that's why when I go into these houses and some of them become so stiff when they're wearing like NPP shirts, I hold them on their shoulder or greet them. They're tense at first, then I joke a bit with them. You see them relax because it's your right to support who you want, so I think we have to learn that about politics. And also to the government, we hear stories that, they fire people they believe that are UDP or they are very suspicious. Yeah. Sometimes people from government call me and they call you on WhatsApp first. Yeah. Records my line. So I think this is a very bad sign for Gambia. To the fair, people fear even calling you. Hey, I'm tap my phone. And then secondly, they will tell you, I don't want anybody to know I'm supporting you. And these are also crazy. I mean, you should be able to support who you like openly. You should be able to call who you want freely. Yeah. Why are we bringing back the same things that were happening in the past? Why should somebody keep calling somebody on WhatsApp? Sometimes I even reject the WhatsApp call. I call them directly. I said, so my friend, you only live one life. So why are you walking around fearing everybody and looking over your shoulder? So this is our country. It belongs to all of us. Whether it be UDP, NPP, any party, it's your right to function here freely. As far as you're following the law. You should be able to meet the president, even the president knowing you don't support him, and there should not be any issues. So we see a lot of those things, happening where, somebody even wants to donate to you. Yeah. And they're hiding. It's like an operation to get that donation. You have to meet in a dark spot or night goggles or, they have to leave in an untraced car. I mean, come on. You should be able to even come openly. And donate. This is what our law should even allow, where people donate and it's published. Yeah. But not that is what democracy is about. I donate about. You see, in the case of even high-profile celebrities and stuff, they're even afraid to show who they support. Yep. Where the normal thing is, so celebrity has endorsed. I mean, we see in progressive countries, democracies, that's unions, associations, even companies, newspapers, endorsing a candidate openly without fear or favor. And what kind of country do we live in where you fear the government? The government should fear you. The government should be out there trying to convince you to support them, not out there bullying you and scaring you to submission. So I hope all of these things stop. It's nonsense. It's not. It's crazy. So I think Gambians also. The problem starts with the Gambian, the individual. Yeah. That's where the problem is. If we all agree that there's nothing to be afraid of, there's nothing to be afraid of. But if we all agree that we should be afraid, we should be afraid. Power is always with the people. It's perception.
Power belongs to the people.
If you believe that you are a slave of somebody, you are the slave. If you believe that you are the master, you are the master. So it always starts with the individual. And this is something that I hope changes in Gambians. The hiding, the double standards, the going to two different people and say, oh, I support you. To give one party 1 million and give another party 200,000 just in case. You know, I mean, support somebody and do it proudly and openly. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
You know, so I hope that changes.
That changes. We have seen a different Talib Bensouda this campaign. You know, a lot of people said, Talib dafa ragal, dual government, dafa like, but that is different. We have seen a firebrand politician.
No,
you say it how you believe, and you give it out to your opponents in a respectful but very strong message. Lan mo yellow si Talib, lan mo hell. We have seen a completely different Talib. A lot of people said, no, Talib dafa ragal, Talib dafa ragal. But that is not this campaign. Look hell.
Well, my beliefs have not changed. My character has not changed. My views have not changed. My principles have not changed. Maybe I'm just more outspoken about it because I've realized that the more I keep quiet, the more the other side shapes the narrative. You know, so, and I've always advocated for working together. You know, one thing is I always wanted to preserve the ability to be able to work together because I know as an individual, you can't do much. You only have 2 hands, 2 eyes, 2 ears, you know. So you can only do so much as an individual. And I like to see an environment where I'm chilling with the Ministry of Local Government, chatting and joking. And then when it comes to politics, I go to my party, I say, oh, government has not done anything. He goes and say, oh, councils have not been functioning, you know. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what politics is about. But when it comes to a working relationship, there should be a healthy working relationship between governments, between people, between different institutions. So I did not want to jeopardize that prematurely. But then again, I was mistaken in the fact that thinking that keeping quiet meant that people would understand that you're trying to have a good working relationship with them. That's why you are keeping quiet. So basically, I've realized that, you know, we just all need to speak out, not just me. We need to speak out openly about our views and our core beliefs. And this is the only way we can have an honest dialogue. Now that they know what my viewpoints is, and I'm going to talk even more and more. If they really want to build this country and move towards a positive direction, it's clear what I want. Honest working relationship.
Honest working relationship.
Honest working relationship and based on good faith. You know, so these underhand tactics, working on bad faith, coming to my office and pretending like I'm the best guy in the world and going into your office and trying to block every development project. You know, these are the things we want to stop in this country. So maybe you think that I have changed, but maybe I've evolved. You have evolved.
Let's say you have evolved. And finally, you are the organizing secretary of the United Democratic Party. Your party, apart from the presidential, has continuously won 3 election cycles.
Popular vote.
Popular votes. A lot of people said we should watch out for UDP. They have always maintained that, you know, from the National Assembly to the councillors and the mayoral elections. What is next for the United Democratic Party?
So the UDP is a special party. It's built on very strong, sound foundations. Its attraction to people is based on principles. They always say, so buge party bude kudama United Democratic Party. We're not afraid to talk about our views, our viewpoints. And it's shown now, recently, with the influx of all the young people, that now it can evolve. It's a party that can learn from its mistakes, that can now is self-aware. We have always been very bullish about our ideas or what we believe, but after the presidential elections, we've had a moment of self-reflection and realized that some people don't appreciate certain aspects of the party, and we've had discussions amongst ourselves and we say, look, we are a Gambian party. We are for Gambians. We know this. So how come other people are not seeing this about us? So maybe we have to, our message, we have to be sensitive to out people who are not inside, so they can understand what we're all about. You know, because sometimes the party can be seen as very aggressive, ultra-nationalist. It's because the party went through a lot. We were built on literally the foundations of fighting for human rights and democracy in a time of autocracy. And then our evolution was being dictated by a strong man who was killing, maiming, kidnapping, torturing, disappearing members. So the psyche of the party was to fight back, even though we are a party built on democracy and human rights. So when this new cohort came of mayors, National Assembly members, for the first time we had a chance to develop, and then now development is part of the tenets of the party. How do we bring quality of life, etc. And after we lost the presidential election, we have all these great things going on. Now we know we have to change our messaging and we have to be more open. So the party is evolving and it's actually reflecting in the results. People are now getting attracted to this new UDP or this new phase, etc. So I think as an organizing secretary, I was just talking to Sabali. I was together with him before I came.
Okay.
And as a campaign manager, organizing secretary with Ibrahim Adiba, you know, we are saying, what's the next phase? What's next? The campaign and organizing is the engine of the party. We push the agenda of the leadership and the executive. And we were just analyzing what's next. And we believe we are at the cusp of having a majority of supporters in this country. But we also want to ensure that everybody who doesn't support us knows that we are not against them. We just have a different view about how this country moves. So basically, I think we're on strong ground for 2026. And I told Sabali right after was it the council election?
Mm-hmm.
I called him, he was even joking today. I said, Sabali, why are you quiet? You just won the popular vote.
Yeah.
Go out and celebrate, you're the campaign manager. You know, he was just joking about it.
Yeah.
He said, that's when I just went and said, we won the popular vote, you know.
Yeah.
So I think also the party is uniting now, you know, more and more. It's a complicated party with many characters and many egos.
Yes.
But, you know, for the first time, I'm comfortable that people are seeing eye to eye. People now realize that we have to come together to salvage this country. So there's strong hope. And our party leader is grown younger since presidential, you know. So he's energized, he's excited, you know. So I think things are going really well for the United Democratic Party, you know. And I want to also thank all other parties who came. They did not come at a national level, but individuals who supported us, who are not members of the UDP, political parties who endorse whole candidacies like myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we like to thank them for their support. And I think they have also seen a different UDP that they're attracted to, you know. So I think this is going to be the trend moving forward. And to the president, we're not his enemy. You know, I know there are people in that cabinet, people around that office screwing him and telling him, you know, these guys are after you. After your presidency, they're going to come after you. They hate you. It's all false. You know, it's all false. When I went to the party leader and I told you about this, that, you know, I think you and the president should meet.
Yeah.
And they were even planning to meet. He was excited. He was like, that's great, you know. But, you know, people on the other side didn't want it to happen.
Wow.
You know, so just to say that let's try to work together. You know, Gambia is too small.
It's too small.
2.4 million people, no resources, smallest landmass in Africa, one of the smallest countries in the world. 180 poorest. I mean, why fight? We should be working every day. We should not be fighting. We have no time to fight. We're just too poor, too backward, too many people suffering, too small to fight. We have to work every day. One Turkish mayor came into my office once. He found me sitting. He's like, Mayor, this is the first time I met the man. I have never met him.
Yeah.
He was a mayor from Izurum, Mehmet Sekman, in Turkey. First day, I do a small office talk. Hey, you always talk, juggle. You guys need to walk.
Oh.
Your country is too poor.
Oh, wow.
You know,
interesting.
So, you know, yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Finally, what is your message to the people of KMC and the people of Gambia? Celebrations, Jehna, work begins. Learn more is a message to the people of KM.
Yeah, you know, first of all, to the people of KM first, I'm very appreciative of you giving me a second mandate. Dilen Santa Dilen Girem. ñu ma sànnilul karta tam di leen assure ne I'm there. I'll try and prove you guys wrong by working for you. Also pour wax ñu lose tam ñoom Pa Modou Mbow ñoom Bakary Badji élection moom foog na gagné rek wante kenn du ñaaka nag dafa nekk lu nga xam ne la at the end démocratie bàyyi yokku rek waaw wante ñu bañ a def politique bu bon rek waaw man loolu laa day ñaan wante di leen congratulate for seen candidacy di wax nit ñi yëpp KMC ne man Talib Bensouda seen doom seen raka seen sit I will continue to work hard to deliver on our campaign plans. I don't want to use promises. Campaign manifesto pour ensure ne jekkali nañ liggéey bi to your satisfaction. And of course to the people of the Gambia comme nu ma ko waxee rek dëkk bi ñun ñoo ko moom nañ try ñun yëpp ñu nekk fi benn kenn bu mu ëpp moromam ñun yëpp ñu toppal luwa wante ñu try ñu bennoo pour yóbbu suñu dëkk kanam. To the government and the president pour won leen ne we want to work with them. ñun nekkuñ kenn noonam at the KMC all my councillors and I we want to work hand in glove with the Gambia government to bring more development to our people and let us all together as a country you reject the politics of tribe, you reject the politics of division, reject the politics of money and corruption. Let's work on positive items lu nga xam ne suñ doom yi ak suñ sët yi for years dañoo waxtu ne ñi ñooy mag yu change Gambia moo ñooy mag ñu taxtee suñ Gambia mu neex kon on that note maa ngi leen di sant di leen gërëm and Fatou yow tam for always being the wonderful journalist you are and sa platform is just amazing.
Thank you.
Liggéey booy def Gambia kenn mënul la koo fay and pour gëna la encourage.
Thank you.
yaa ngi si yoon yaa ngi brave yaa ngi jonkonteel all sorts of accusations all sorts of hair.
ñu ne kër yu di
wante I am sure in the long run it will pay off because dëgg moo dee mujjee.
Inshallah. Thank you very much, Mayor, for always availing us the opportunity to talk to you. Public officials, luñ amal seen askan rek mooy ñu wax ak ñoom. And you always been open to all media houses. And we are very grateful for that opportunity. Thank you very much. And to you all watching, thank you very much. Hopefully we'll get other candidates as well. You like and send reaction as to what happened to campaign. Until we come your way next week, inshallah. Good night and see you again. Bye-bye.
Airport Residency Estate is a gated community located in Old Yundum, proudly developed by Swami India, perfect for all looking for a quiet life with luxury amenities within an enclosed setting. When talking about the benefits of living in a gated community, safety and security is top on the list. They allow extra privacy, take away the hustle of unwelcome solicitors, and create a safe haven for children to play in a trusted environment without traffic or speedy vehicles. A great sense of community develops through the meeting at a controlled communal leisure facilities, offering an integrated lifestyle. A green environment and well-managed communal areas are keys to higher home standards, elevated quality of life, and better property value, should you consider home reinvestment in the future. Added to all is the location, just next to the airport and reconstructed main road, yet tucked in the tranquility of nature. Our purpose is one: your satisfaction. Contact us. Let us help you build your dream home in the Gambia.
yiriwa men kafutan na tarambulolu to nga GIA cargo complex parendile pour ka julaya sone yandi kadungoni mfunti bunda na doko sembentu ya Banjul International Airport to men si nyafa si moluma melka fengolu ki bantala bankolu kan anin julandingolu fana foysi sulan na cargo doko le bang katu masingolu bembulule ikafo meye forklifts melka selendiro nin jindiro ke bagasolu la melbe funti kan waranto ka dunnan na warehouse lu kono nga dinkira sumayari ngolu fana sotole ifula milla fano mu metar kemeleti karo bela adun isi cargo bagasolu tanole men sita fo ton tan woro ila sumaya fana futata tembeleto men ka fendolu mabono fo ikana tinya fo sene fengol lombang domari fengolu waranto jata kende ani bori ma fengolu cargo bagasolu la taradula kendo asulata jamani labang korosir langolu lela na double view x-ray korosir la masingolu aka cargo bagaso kono jubele komi cargo doko sartolu ya landi nyameng nyin double view x-ray amu jamani labang rapid scanaleti menka karafula korosiro keno cargo sifa bela wati kiringo kono to na doku lalo imu ayata karandingol leti miliela doku no iframansata cargo doku na tamandiri nyato na doku la betea wayem futandi RA3 makamoleto mensa tinnafo nse cargo bagasolu kinole kata UK aning EU bankolu kan GIA ka hakili tenkungo dila na doku woto ite nyina la men.
Every day is a new opportunity to make sure our first impressions are always our best and to see possibilities on the horizon, to make our facilities and services more accessible and find freedom all around us. With a location proximity to active markets, with a liberal air transportation policy, that daily pursuit is how we turn everyday opportunities for you. For all destination marketing support, customized packages for new existing airlines and operators, and for a highly ranked tourist destination, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority is here to serve. We regulate air transport, operate and manage BIA technical requirements, merged with commercial considerations. We have experienced and well-trained aviation professionals to cater for your needs. For investment opportunities in building airport hotels, shopping malls, playground for children, do contact us on 4472-831, 4472-893. Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. We go beyond daily.